My daughter's history teacher was forcing her to pretend to be his dead wife. In exchange for good grades, the school protected him and got a restraining order against me, so we had to resort to extremes to get justice. I was at my 18-year-old daughter Megan's parent-teacher meeting when her history teacher, a 60-year-old man named Mr. Bradley, told me she's a great student and such a good girl. He had this weird smile when he said it, and his voice just felt wrong. What made it even weirder was that Megan was barely passing her other classes, but was getting straight A's in his. When I got home, I asked her about it, wanting to know why Mr. Bradley was the only teacher with good things to say. She froze, looking like a deer in the headlights, before she mumbled something about loving history. The problem was, before starting my current job, I had taught history for years, so I gave her a pop quiz right there. She couldn't answer a single question. That night I couldn't sleep, thinking about how my daughter, who didn't even know Hitler's first name, was acing history. The next morning after she went to school, I searched her room. I know it was wrong, but I was scared he was taking advantage of her, and what I found made my stomach turn. In her newest diary entry, she wrote about Mr. Bradley and about how doing it made her sick, but she had no other choice. I felt myself go cold. I called the principal right away and told him Mr. Bradley was forcing my daughter to do things for good grades. He sounded annoyed though, like I'd disturbed him. He called me in for a meeting. That honestly just seemed like courtesy on his part, because at the meeting, he completely just brushed me off, telling me that without real proof, not just fluffy diary writing, they couldn't do anything. All I felt was pure anger. I waited for Megan to get home, and when she did, I gently sat her down. I asked her to tell me the truth about what was going on with Mr. Bradley. I even bluffed, telling her I already knew everything, so there was no point in lying. She broke down and told me the whole story, and it was even worse than I could have imagined. It turned out, at the start of the school year, Mr. Bradley caught Megan with a small bag of the devil's lettuce, which was enough to get her kicked out. She begged him not to report her, and said she would do anything, and he took that literally. So once a week, Megan goes to his house after school, where she cooks dinner for him and pretends to be his dead wife, wearing her old dresses and playing mom to his 4-year-old daughter. Megan said she hated it, and it made her feel sick, but she had to do it. She had even gone to the principal with recordings and photos, but he said since she was 18, they were both adults free to make their own choices, and he couldn't do anything. She cried in my arms, and in that moment, I knew what I had to do. I was a cop, I had connections, and Mr. Bradley was going to pay for every last sick thing he had done. I held Megan tighter as she sobbed into my shoulder, mentally cataloging which of my former colleagues might be willing to help. Jake owed me from that case 3 years ago. Janet from the precinct might still take my calls. My mind raced through possibilities when Megan's phone buzzed on the coffee table. She pulled away to check it, and her face went pale. She turned the screen toward me. Bradley had texted, "Don't forget Thursday's special dinner. Wear the blue dress." My hands clenched into fists. Thursday was tomorrow. The next morning, I drove to the pharmacy to pick up Megan's anxiety medication. She'd been taking it since this whole nightmare started. As I waited in line, I spotted a familiar figure at the counter ahead of me. Bradley was buying children's vitamins, chatting casually with the pharmacist about the weather. Our eyes met briefly. He gave me that same unsettling smile from the parent-teacher meeting, while the pharmacist asked him about the usual prescriptions. His hand trembled slightly as he handled his credit card, the only sign that my presence affected him at all. I followed him out to the parking lot. The moment we were away from other customers, I confronted him. "You're done abusing my daughter," I said, stepping between him and his car. "I know everything. The dinners, the dresses, making her pretend to be your dead wife. It ends now." A teacher walking past us stopped mid-stride. She'd only heard "you're forcing my daughter" without any context. Bradley's eyes flicked to her, then back to me, and I saw calculation in his expression. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said loudly enough for the teacher to hear, "but I don't appreciate being threatened."